Hi guys, welcome to the Josh Attwell Sports YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Singapore Squash Open 2023 Gold PSA event, and we're going to do a preview for it. So we're going to be looking at potential good matchups as well as predictions for who might win it, who will go deep in the tournament, and any shock results that could end up happening. So this is the first time I'm seeing the draw. It came out a few days ago, but I thought I'd save it and look at it for the first time on camera. To get the natural reaction to it. So let's go. Let's have a look. So, for the first match, we've got wildcard Marcus Hua. Don't know how to pronounce that, but he is from Singapore, hence why he's the wildcard. I don't know how good he is. I don't know who he is. I can't really comment on that. And he's playing the Canadian David. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name. I don't know, but I've seen him play before. He's a good player, solid around the middle. I'd have to assume, with limited information, that David or David or whatever will win this, just based on the fact that usually wildcards are weaker, but I'm not really qualified to speak on that because I don't know how good Marcus actually is. So let's get on to the next one. We've got Yao, Malaysian, maybe ranked around 19-20 in the world right now, against Balaz Farkas, who is a very good player, but a very skillful player, Balaz. But I feel like Yao will have a bit more experience and will be able to dismantle him, even though Yao is having a little bit of a plateau at the moment. Obviously still around that 20 mark, but I felt like by now he'd be pushing on a bit higher. Yeah, he hasn't got many big wins for a while, but then that could all change. I think he's a fantastic player, and hopefully for him it does change and he can do well in this tournament. Then in the next one, both of these guys have buys: Youssef Solomon, Marwan El Shabagi. Henry Leung against Sebastian Bonmalay, Frenchman against the Hong Konger. This is a tough one. Both decent players. I believe Henry Leung is... In fact, let me just check the rankings. Current ranking is 54. Yeah, that's what I thought. So around 54. I believe Bonmalay is ranked a bit higher. 36, yeah. I would imagine Sebastian would win that. Just based on who I've seen Henry Leung play in the past. I know Curtis Malik's beaten him a couple of times in close matches. But I don't know about Sebastian. I know he's a decent player. And I know he's played in some bigger events. Probably got a bit more experience than Henry. And then we have Youssef Ibrahim versus Si Quan Lau from Hong Kong. Now, it would be hard to bet against Youssef here. Obviously, the talent level is off the charts. He can do things with the ball that almost no one else can do. And yeah, he's had a couple of decent results recently, beating Hesham at the last tournament with that fantastic topspin forehand winner in the left-hand front corner to end the match. So, unbelievable player. It would be hard to bet against him. Now, let me just check. Is Si Quan Lau... Is he... Okay, this is what I need to figure out, because there's... Is he Alex Lau? I don't know. Sometimes I get mixed up between their English names and their Chinese names. But if that is... Well, actually, we can find out. Yes, it is. I can confirm that after a bit of research, Si Quan Lau is Alex Lau, as I know him better as. And he's actually playing really well. I think he could actually be a threat to Youssef Ibrahim. I don't think he'll win, but it's not an easy match for Youssef. I think Alex has definitely proven that out of the Hong Kong players, he's probably the biggest threat at the moment. And he's actually got some really close matches with some top players recently. I don't remember who it was, but I believe he took a game off Paul Cole or something like that recently. And he's beaten some other good players, and he's unbelievably quick, got good hands. Definitely a tough matchup for Youssef. So that'll be a great first round to watch, I think. And then we've got Mohamed El Shabagi with a bye, Mustafa Asal with a bye, as you expect. And then we've got Todd Harrity against Saurav Ghosal, which is another interesting matchup. I believe Saurav will have that covered. Not that Todd's a bad player, but I feel like towards the latter stages of Saurav's career, he's actually doing a lot of stuff really well, and had a bit of a breakthrough a few years ago, and was getting some good wins. I haven't seen him play that recently, but I believe that he'll win that. Just his experience will take him through. Then we've got Leandro Romiglio from Argentina, I believe, against Lucas Serm from France. Now, I don't know anything about Leandro, so I can't really comment on that. Obviously, I've seen Lucas Serm play a number of times. I do question Lucas's consistency sometimes. He gets some good results and has a few questionable ones. But without knowing Leandro, I can't comment. All I can say is Leandro, his ranking is, 40. So he must be pretty good. And Lucas is 56 at the moment. So world ranking really isn't necessarily the way to go for predictions, but by the look of it, it might be a tough one for Lucas. And then we've got Polka with a bye, Faraz Dazuki with a bye. Curtis Malik. I know that man. So Curtis against Karim El Hamami. Now, Karim's ranking is 38. Curtis's is currently 49, I believe. 48, always nipped up a bit. Soon to go up because he won another event last weekend. But I know the rankings would suggest that Karim will win. I feel like Curtis, he's come off 2 back-to-back tournament wins, and he's beaten players higher ranked than Karim before. So I would actually put my money on Curtis for this, just with the momentum. I know I'm a little bit biased, so it's not the... it's probably what people would expect me to say. But after having hits with Curtis recently and feeling for him a bit and seeing his quality and the pace he can play at, I think he's definitely ready to win these matches consistently as well. I think he's that level. I've seen him dismantling people around his own ranking at the moment. So if he can dismantle people at his own ranking, think what damage he can do to people higher up. I think he could take matches off them. Well, I hope so. But we'll have to see. That'll definitely be one I'm watching. And then we've got Ramit Tandon against Rory Stewart. Now, on first glance, I'd say Ramit would be the favourite. Again, the ranking 44 versus 49. So it's not that different in the ranking. And Rory Stewart is a good player. So it's probably one of these matches that could end up being quite close. You get 2 types of first round matches. You get these ones where the rankings are quite similar, and you get the pretty one-sided ones. And this is definitely one of those close ones. Like looking up the list. I mean, you'd have thought Youssef Ibrahim would be a one-sided, but because he's got Alex Lau, I think actually that's not as one-sided as it seems at first. Yao against Balaz, I guess that would be seen as a more one-sided one. So yeah, there are a couple of slightly what would appear to be more one-sided ones. But this one, I believe, is one of the closer ones. If I were a betting man, I would probably put my money on Ramit. But I probably wouldn't bet on it because, well, 1, I don't bet, and 2, I wouldn't be convinced. I'm not 100% sure who would win that. But let's go through to the potential second round matchups. But first, actually, let me go and do my my first round match. What's the word? I was going to say man of the match, but no. I mean match of the day. They're all on the same day. So yeah, match of the day for the first round. I believe the best, most exciting match will actually be Youssef Ibrahim versus Taekwon Lau. I believe that will have the most exciting squash. One, because Youssef Ibrahim and his skill levels, and two, because of the retrieval abilities of Alex Lau and the flair that he has. I believe that'll be the most exciting. Although the one that I'll be watching, like I said before, is Curtis against Kareem. So let's go to the potential second rounds. We have Ali Farag against the winner of these two. Now let's just pretend that it's Ali Farag against David Bajer. Yeah, I can't say it. I just can't say it. David. Let's call him David. Ali Farag against David. Ali Farag's the best player in the world right now. So I don't think much needs to be said about this. It'll be a great experience for David to play the world number one in his prime. So, yeah. Have fun. Let's say Yao wins this and he's up against Yusuf Solomon. Oh, that's tough. It's actually quite a close match. It's a really close match. I think with how they're both playing right now, I think Yusuf Solomon will win. And I think a few months ago, or maybe 6 months or so ago, I would have said, actually, I think Yao will win. But I just think with how they're playing currently, Yusuf Solomon will win. But I do think it will be a good match, and I don't think it will be one-sided. I think they're both great players. But yeah. Marwan El-Shabagi against, let's say, Sebastian Bonmele. Yeah, I don't see either of them beating Marwan. I think Marwan's too clever. He can get those lower-ranked players off court really quickly. He plays, great attacking squash, hits good lines. Marwan usually struggles when he's playing against the top few players. When he's playing against someone who he can really make the court big and make move, he can, win very quickly. Kind of like Gaultier used to do. He used to get through those first rounds really fast. I guess that the only thing that you could say is having a bye can lead you to being a little bit flat in the first match, whereas the others have played a match already, got the nerves out. But these guys are so experienced. It would make a difference to me. I'm not great in the first round, but to those guys, they're used to doing that, and I think they're enough levels above that it shouldn't make a difference. And the others could be tired as well if it's a close match. But with one match, these pros are so fit, it doesn't make much difference. It only really makes a difference towards the back end of a tournament. Then we've got, let's say, Youssef Ibrahim against Mohamed El-Shabagi. Okay, that's already match of the second round. I don't think anything can beat that. We've already seen them go head-to-head and have absolute mammoth battles, play some of the best squash of the year this year. So hopefully we just get another one like that, and it's just everyone's a winner at that point, apart from whoever loses the match. All the viewers are winners, and that's what we care about. So yeah, I think that would be the match of the day. But let's keep looking down, and there might be one that beats it. I doubt it, but there might be. Mustafa Asal against, let's say Sarab in this scenario. I don't see Asal losing that. I think, not many people can beat Asal. Although he lost in the last tournament to one of the French guys. I've forgotten who it was. It's either Massotti or Desord or one of them. I always get mixed up between them. But yes, I think he's had a tournament to have a little warm up now, so he'll be ready for this one. And he's in another one currently. I've forgotten where it is. Malaysia. It's in Malaysia, I think. But yeah. Then we've got let's say, Leandro Romiglio against Paul Kell. Now, I always say this, and I'm always very critical of players like Paul Cole, like Joel Makin, who are their game is based around their physicality and their ability to retrieve and apply pressure that way. Obviously, that's not all they do, but they don't have the same adaptability and skills as some of the other players. So I'm always quite critical. But if someone were to ask me who do you least want to play in a tournament, it would be your Paul Coles, your Joel Makins, your guys who get every ball back and make it horrible if you're a lower ranked player to get any points. And yeah, I think it's like coming up against a brick wall. So for either Lucas or Leandro, I hope I'm saying Leandro right, because it would be a bit horrendous if I've been saying it wrong the whole time with that much confidence. But Paul Cole, I think, will have that and will just lock that court down and make it really hard for either Leandro or Lucas to get anywhere. And then we've got Curtis or Kareem against Fares. That will be a great match. I mean, Fares' consistency is where he can fall apart sometimes, and his mental side. But I always maintain that I think Fares on his day can beat anyone in the world. Literally anyone. I think he is one of the few players that could, if he had his day, beat even someone like Ali Farag. He hasn't had his day in a while, though, sadly, because he hits that ball like a laser. Like, no one else hits it like that. When he kills the ball in short, the ball goes in so sharp and so flat, and it's such a direct follow-through he uses with such racket head speed that it's almost impossible to see it coming. So when he is hitting the ball well into those targets, I feel like he's almost unplayable. It's just he then makes errors and loses it mentally and loses his intensity. So that's on him to be able to get that back. So out of all the people Curtis or Kareem could play second round, it's actually probably quite good, because there's a chance that Fares is not having a good day. And if he's not, then, you know, Curtis, hopefully Curtis, from my point of view, could have ways to get into that match and make it awkward for Fares. But I could see a world, and obviously Fares' quality is so high on his day, that he could blow a lower ranked player away, and Curtis might not be ready for that yet. But, you know, he can do that to anyone, so it's no disrespect to whoever ends up playing him. But I don't think there's any shame in getting completely blown up by Fares, because he can do that to anyone in the world. But I'd rather play him than Paul Cole, because there is the off chance that he has a day where he's not on top and you can get somewhere and maybe even win. So my money would be on Fares there. Sorry, Curtis. But I think there's a chance. There's a chance. And then we've got Ramit Tandon or Rory Stewart against Diego Elias. Diego's one of those guys who I don't put in the same category as Paul and Joel, in that he relies on his retrieval, but his movement is very solid. He's more on the Ali Farag train to me, where he's so good at moving and he's so smooth and efficient, it feels hard to break him down. And because of that, I feel like anyone ranked outside the top 5 isn't going to be able to break him down, and he's just going to find it quite easy. Like a Gaultier, requires someone of another level to be able to force them to move quick enough and stretch and move around the court enough to make it tough for them. But I don't think Ramit or Rory are either of those players. No disrespect again, but they're not top 5 in the world, and they're not even top 20 in the world. So to beat the number 2 in the world, it's not going to happen. Obviously it can, but my prediction is it's not going to happen. So that's what I have to say about that. So let's go through now. Now, what happens if I click this? okay, it doesn't help us much because it just does that. So we're just going to have to skip yeah, we'll figure it out. So, then, assuming that's gone that way, Ali Farag against Youssef Solomon. That's right, yeah? Yeah, it would be Yao or Youssef in our imaginary scenario. I believe that Ali Farag will win. My money's on Ali Farag to win the tournament, so my metaphorical money, imaginary money, is on Ali Farag to win the tournament. So there's no point in me questioning that he might lose to Youssef Solomon, because I don't think he will. I think he's the best player in the world and the most consistent player in the world. So yeah, Ali Farag to get through to, I believe that would be the semi-final. Round 2, yeah, that would be, so he's through to round 2, he's won that, and now he's in the quarters, and then that would be through to the semi, yeah. Then Marwan would be against Mohammed, if Mohammed beats Youssef. Which I think Mohammed will beat Youssef. I don't want, I like it when Youssef wins, but I think this time Mohammed will win. I just have a feeling. I think Mohammed's more consistent, but Youssef's fully capable of winning. But Mohammed, in my mind, will win and play Marwan. The brother matchup that everyone loves to see, I'm never too keen on it because I feel like I never feel like they play their best when they play each other. But that makes sense. If you're playing your brother, it's hard to be up for it fully. But I do believe that Mohammed will win. I don't think Marwan has shown enough recently to show that he would beat Mohammed currently. I mean, I'm not sure when they last played. I might be talking rubbish. They might have played recently and Marwan won, but I don't remember when they last played. In fact, can we see that? Head to head. Marwan. Why is Marwan Al-Shabagi not? Okay. Marwan. Compare. Okay. Now, does it tell us the last time they played? It's 2022 and Mohammed won. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Mohammed's winning that for me. Mustafa Asal up against Paul Cole. Oh. Wait, is that right? Yeah, it is. Well, we know how that's gone in the past. A lot of close 3-2s. I think with the fact that Mustafa hasn't played many tournaments recently, I mean, he'll be going in with another tournament under his belt, though. It can go one of two ways. He either comes back really hungry to win and gets a win, or he's just a bit flat and deflated after his ban and hasn't been too on it. And Paul Cole is obviously, he won the US Open against Ali Farag. I think Paul Cole will win. I know he's seeded lower. I think Paul Cole will win that match. It'll be close. It has to be close, but I think Paul Cole will win, given that he's had a bit more court time over the last, or at least tournament court time over the last few months. I think that'll be the difference. And then the final, and to be fair, Asal against, I think Asal against Paul Cole will be the match to watch, match of the day for the quarterfinals. I don't think you're going to get better than that. Because then you're going to get Fares Dazuki, if it goes to the seedings, against Diego Elias. And like I say, Fares on his day could definitely win that. It's just it hasn't happened in a while. So I think Diego's going to win that, absorb the pressure, and flip it back on Dazuki. And Dazuki will hit a few too many tins. That's how I'd imagine it turning out. But again, it's a fiery matchup. could be exciting. But I think the Paul Cole, Mustafa Assawa, it has history, it has controversy. It's definitely sparked a lot of debates in the past, so that is going to be the one to watch for everyone. I can't promise the cleanest squash though, but there's definitely going to be some entertainment in there, whether it's for the right reasons or the wrong reasons. Something's going to happen that will be interesting. So that is the match of the quarterfinals, and that brings us to the semis. So in the semis, it would be, given our predictions, Ali Farag up against Mohamed El Shorbagy. Now, that's a great matchup, isn't it? Like, I believe that Ali Farag has Mohamed's number over recent years. I feel like the way Ali plays is he neutralises a lot of aggressive threats. Now, who plays with a lot of aggressive threats? Mohamed El Shorbagy does. That's just, he's an aggressive player. He loves to kill the ball in. Obviously, he's got a very structured game too, but he plays with severity in the front of the court. And interestingly, while I think that's a great way to play squash, Ali Farag actually plays his best against that style. And it's actually the more passive squash that Ali Farag doesn't play very well against. He doesn't play well against Paul Cole. Because I think he gets a bit bored. There's nothing to neutralise, as it were. And then Paul Cole just kind of grinds him down over time. And I feel like Ali doesn't... he doesn't get to do what he's really good at, which is absorb the threats until there aren't any threats left. And then that player hits tins. Which is why he's good against someone like Momin or Mohamed. So I think Ali Farag's got that one. That's my prediction. I think Ali Farag's going to win that semi-final. Not easy, but I think he's got that. Then, in the other semi-final, Mustafa Assawa... Oh no, I predicted Paul Cole to win that. So Paul Cole against Diego Elias. Oh... That's really tough. I think Diego's a better player. But mentally, I think Paul Cole's stronger. And if it goes into a long match, which it will, because they both move well, Paul Cole has an ability... to... stay mentally focused in those long matches and grind it out and be able to win on fitness, essentially. But I think Diego... I've got to go with who I think's a better player. I know the matchup's important. I think Diego will win. that. And it would go in line with my prediction for the final. Because if I thought that Paul would win that, then sadly for Ali Farag is, like I said before, is probably Paul Cole is Ali Farag's worst matchup. It's the one that he is least likely to win just because of the style. I think Ali's a way better player, but he just doesn't play well against Paul. It doesn't suit him for the reasons I explained before. I'll make a video on that in a bit more detail. Because someone like Mohamed El Shorbagy actually plays well against Paul Cole because of that severity, and I think you need a bit of severity to beat Paul. So it's kind of a rock, paper, scissors scenario where Paul beats Ali, Ali beats Mohamed, and Mohamed beats Paul. At least that's how I see it. You might disagree, but I'd be interested to know your thoughts in the comments below. But I think Diego will win that. I think... As I said in that Era Clash episode with Curtis, watch the video, the podcast I did, I think Diego is an unbelievable player that I kind of wonder how he ever loses with the way he plays, because he plays a very consistent brand of squash. and it seems like he shouldn't ever lose, but I think his mentality sometimes lets him down. You can get dragged into the ref decisions a bit too much, and it can affect the way he plays. No judgment there, because I think a lot of us are like that. I'm definitely like that. But when you're trying to be world number one, which he has been, but if you're trying to consistently be world number one, you can't let it affect you. That's why I'm not not that. That's not the only reason I'm not world number one. But that's one of the reasons why I would struggle to be a world number one or get that highly ranked, is because you've got to be able to let them go. You've got to be able to stay calm and stay consistent with your thoughts. Because if he does, I think he's up there with Ali Farag as the best player in the world. But Ali Farag is better at dealing with stuff, so mentally, that's why I think Ali is number one. But as players, they're both very good. But let's say Diego does win that and is up against Ali in the final. So you've got Diego Elias versus Ali Farag in the final. Now, I know they're top two seeds, so it's a little bit of a cop-out going for those two to be in the final. But I do believe they're the two top players in the world, to be fair. So it makes sense. But I think Ali Farag will win. As I said before, I kind of spoiled it earlier. But I think he beats Diego. They both play they both move unbelievably well. It's always going to be a long match with them both. But I just think Ali Farag stays calmer, like I said, in the big situations. He's got more experience. He's beaten Diego before. Let's see the head-to-head, actually, because that'll be interesting. Head-to-head, Diego. Yeah, look at that. 23 matches, 87% win rate to Diego's 13% in favour of Ali Farag. That's an unbelievable track record. I mean, if you look at the last four times they've played, so the only times they've played this year, all 4 times, Ali's won. But it's never been 3-love. So that's important to note. It's never been 3-love. And if you look at the most recent one in Qatar, first game, Ali won 15-13. He went 2-love up, then Diego got one back, and then it was 11-9 in the third. That's a close match. That could have gone the other way. Here, Diego in Paris, Diego won the first match 11-2, first game 11-2. Then lost the second 13-11. So could have been 2-love up, really. Then that probably got in his head, which is like we talk about the mentality with Diego. It let him get to him thinking, I could be 2-love up now, but it's 1-1. I don't know, I didn't watch it, but there's a chance there were some decisions he didn't agree with. Don't quote me on that, because I don't know. But something got to him, because he lost the next game 11-1. Now, the fourth game was 11-9 to Ali Farag. So again, could have easily, 2 points difference, gone 2-2. Diego could have won that match, 3-love. And again, here, Ali Farag goes 1-love down. Wins the second game, 12-10. So Diego's thinking, I could have won that game, then loses the next one 11-2. So it's the same pattern. It's actually the exact same pattern in those two matches. Which is very odd, but I think it proves my point. That I think Ali Farag has that mental advantage on those big points in that second game, being 1-love down. It's so tough when you're 1-love down, playing those big points towards the back end of the second, knowing that you could go 2-love down. Like, that is one of the toughest positions to be in. Yet, time and time again, in these 2 back-to-back matches, 1 final, 1 semi-final of major events, Ali Farag has been able to dig deep. He's been able to take that second game, and Diego has crumbled. If it happened the other way around, I don't think Ali Farag would crumble. And that's why I'm predicting Ali to beat Diego in the final and to take the championship of the Singapore Squash Open 2023, starting on the 14th of November. So we've got a week. There's 1 week before. 7 hours, 7 minutes, 7 days, 7 hours, 5 minutes, 17 seconds away. So make sure you watch it. I know we just broke down the men's there. There is a women's tournament. I don't have time to break that down as well. but watch both, and hopefully there are lots of good matches, and maybe we'll do a breakdown after the tournament to see which predictions were right and which were wrong, as well as if the matches we thought were going to be good were good, and maybe we'll break down some rallies in there and see who is going to be looking on top for the next tournament after that, which I believe is the Hong Kong Open. Let's see. Hong Kong Open. I know that's the Hong Kong Football Club Open, and then we've got... Okay, yeah. So it's the Hong Kong Football Club Open, followed by, which was my old club actually when I lived down there. Very nice down there, which is a bronze event now. And then the Platinum Hong Kong Open, which is obviously huge. That's the one to watch. We'll do a breakdown of that as we approach it. That's on the 27th, so we've got a bit of time for that. But this gold event, Singapore Squash Open, is the next one to watch. So watch on Squash TV. Not sponsored or anything, although I'd love to be, but not. But watch on Squash TV and enjoy the matches, and hopefully there's a lot of entertainment to be had. And see you next time. Thanks for watching on the Josh Attwell Sports YouTube channel. And make sure you like and subscribe for more content like this. And see you next time.